and welcome to Public Health Matters, a program dedicated to discussing public health issues in our community. This program is sponsored by the Middlebrook Regional Health Commission, which serves the towns of Bound Brook, Greenbrook, Middlesex, South Bound Brook, Warren, and Watchung. My name is Colleen McKay-Wharton, and I'm the health educator for the Commission and the host of this program. Our goal for Public Health Matters is to give you a program that will provide useful information to help you better understand important public health issues, and in particular to really help you see ways that you can reduce any risks that may be associated with them. Joining us today are two public health partners whose work focuses on providing drug and alcohol awareness and prevention programs for a variety of community members, with particular emphasis on students and their families. Our first guest is Jeanette Grimes, a community organizer with over 20 years' experience working with community and nonprofit organizations on a variety of drug and alcohol-related issues, ranging from education and prevention to treatment and recovery. But also joining us is Penny Gleason, who is the coordinator of the Somerville Municipal Alliance, which provides drug and alcohol education and awareness programs for students and parents and other community members. So I thank you both so much for joining us today. It's great to have you. Thank you. Jeanette, why don't we start with you? You know, this is a topic that we haven't really approached yet on our show on Public Health Matters, but we certainly recognize as public health professionals that this is really a significant issue. Youth access to alcohol and drug use and prescription medications, as we'll talk about a little bit later, you know, is well recognized as a public health concern amongst professionals. But can you give us a sense of how significant is this, you know, on a national level? How broad is this an issue?
Well, nationally, there have been a lot of national surveys and research done. So it hits all of our communities. It's something we want to make parents and families, community as a whole aware of. Nationally, we show some substance use is decreasing. But that's unfortunately, hopeful. Yes, that is hopeful. But we want to still make families and communities aware. And we want to prevent that first use, if at all possible.
And that really does become the issue, doesn't it? Is if you can delay this, and I'm just thinking of this in terms of tobacco use, if you can delay that first start, chances are it won't occur. Is that typically what you would?
And the earlier it occurs, unfortunately, the higher the risk.
Oh, the younger the age, you mean?
The younger the age, yes.
That's important.
So we want to prevent that first use, give some education to our communities and families. And I think that's what we try to do in our work.
Right. Now, do you see any significant difference in New Jersey in the rates of alcohol use and drug use amongst youth? Is it any better, any worse?
Well, nationally, the numbers comparing to New Jersey are higher. Unfortunately, except for lifetime use of cocaine, which happens to be higher in the state of New Jersey.
Interesting.
Yes. So with national numbers, New Jersey ranks lower in its percentages of use. But we still want to educate because we don't even want the numbers that high. You know, so at least for New Jersey, the numbers are maybe 2 percentage points lower than the national average.
Interesting. Great. Now, you know, I think people tend to think that drug use and alcohol use, you know, is an inner city thing, is maybe a depressed community sort of issue. And obviously this program airs throughout Somerset County, and that's our real catchment area for the program, and parts of Middlesex. Do you see any validity, I guess, in that issue? Is there differences in community to community depending on urban, rural, suburban? What do you see? Well,
Colleen, you know, we'd like to hope that we don't have these problems in our own communities, but unfortunately, they're in all our communities. Maybe the different places I go, the different places nationally, even locally, we just look different.
Interesting.
Our size may be different area-wise, but we have the same problems. They may be just dressed differently for our children and our public.
Right. And you know, it's, I think you and I were discussing earlier, I, in a past life, worked in a very rural county in New Jersey, and it was very much of the belief that these were things that were not at all an issue. It's an affluent community, kids, the blue ribbon schools, et cetera, and yet there were heroin overdoses, there were drug dealings happening throughout the county, and it's, and do you think that sometimes kids may have just too much time on their hands or not enough access to activities that are healthy maybe in a rural community? Does that contribute
I
to
think
that?
it varies.
Okay.
As you said before also, sometimes children are overscheduled,
Right.
but then there aren't enough, on the opposite side, there aren't enough activities
Right.
where they'd like to be involved in to keep them from having that extra time where it may, unfortunately, make that first use attempt or offer to them. So we want to just balance, and that's why we want our parents involved with the youth, know what's going on with them, and it's so important to know what's going on in your community, also what's going on in your family, in your household.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you know, I'd like to come over to you for a moment, Penny. Penny Gleason, who's the Municipal Alliance Coordinator with the Somerville Municipal Alliance. Penny, tell us first a bit about the role of the municipal alliances. Why don't we start there for a moment?
Well, just to address what Janetta has said about how we all look very different in the state of New Jersey. New Jersey has the shore, has the mountains, a beautiful garden state, and in that we have all kinds of situations. So we're not just a look, you know, we have a multiple look. And municipalities under the municipal alliances, the MACs, are constructed based on what their community looks like. And out of that, they bring to the table the issues that that particular community has. So the shore community may have an issue that maybe people who are living on the turnpike don't have. And the mountainside or the rural as opposed to the urban and suburban, all are characteristic of the state of New Jersey, which it makes us wonderful here in this state, and gives us the opportunity to address issues across the board, not just a narrow focus. So a municipal alliance works with the people in its own community, volunteers, and it's assigned, it has its authority through the governor's office.
Oh, okay. Now, so each municipality within the state will have a municipal alliance? Is
Yes,
that
there are
correct?
about 528 municipal alliances.
Incredible. Okay.
And each one has a steering committee and has a hierarchy that helps to steer what the community is bringing to the table, what their issues are, what their needs are, so that it can be addressed. And one of the nice things is that the funding for the Municipal Alliance comes from a DEETR fund, which is actually drug interdiction. So the fines that are levied against drug users or drug dealers goes right into all of the communities across the state.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
You mentioned the volunteers that make up the alliance come from the community that you serve. Tell us a bit about the types of individuals that become volunteers. What are their roles?
On our municipal alliance in Somerville, we have the police department. We have community people from human resources. We have school teachers. We have providers, you know, in the healthcare field.
So service providers of other sorts too.
We have concerned citizens. That's really the nugget, you know, the heartbeat of the Municipal Alliance is that the volunteers are coming from the people in the community who are concerned